What if the only reason content feels stressful is because you've been creating from pressure instead of purpose? Today, this episode is your permission slip to slow down, get intentional, and finally make content that fits your real life. Welcome to the Self-Made Life Podcast, the show for entrepreneurs who are building a business and life they actually love. I'm your host, Ashley Wyatt, creative director and founder of the Monarch Design Co. And I believe that the right brand, the right systems, and the right strategy can change everything. Each week, we're having honest conversations about branding, websites, copywriting, SEO, AI, motherhood, and what it really likes to grow a sustainable business in this season of life. I'm sharing the wins, the lessons, and the messy in between. Because being self-made isn't about doing it alone. It's about building something that actually fits your life. So let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome back to the Self-Made Life Podcast. If you're new here, hi, I'm Ashley Wyatt. I'm the founder and creative director at Monarch Design Co. And I help established service-based businesses create strategic brands and websites and SEO-driven marketing that help them attract better clients, raise their rates, and grow with confidence. I'm also a mom of two little ones. They are 3 and my daughter just turned 1. I love coffee, although I am usually drinking it cold. I love to bake sourdough, and when life allows, I love to craft and knit and sew. I'm actually just teaching myself how to sew this year. And I'm also just someone who's very much figuring out what it looks like to build a business in the middle of real life. And today I'm just so excited to say that the podcast is back. So over the past couple of years, my business, my family, and honestly, my entire perspective of success has shifted and changed. And I did take a little bit of a break from the podcast, and in that break, I actually evolved my business, and I realized that the podcast actually needed to evolve right alongside me too. So today I want to share where I've been, what's changed, and what you can expect from this next season of the Self-Made Life podcast. So life just got full in the best and hardest ways. So since the last season of the podcast, I know I chatted a little bit about that last year, but I actually welcomed my second baby. I navigated maternity leave for the second time in 2 years. My kids are 22 months apart, and I managed a major business rebrand. And I worked through some pretty significant financial and personal challenges. So there were seasons where, I felt like I was holding a baby in one arm and a laptop in the other, and it's such a balancing act. But, some days felt really beautiful, and some days I just felt like I was in survival mode. And my husband was navigating job changes. We were renovating our home. I was just really in the thick of it, of figuring out how to be a present mom while also protecting the business I had spent years building. And if I'm being honest, I just needed the space to live through a lot of those lessons before I was ready to talk about them and come back. So professionally, so much has shifted. So when I first started Monarch Design Co., I was offering a multitude of services. I actually had started my business doing calligraphy and luxury wedding stationery. And then, of course, the pandemic happened, and events just got postponed overnight. And we really needed to pivot. And I was offering graphic design services. I was taking on almost anything that was coming my way. And then during, that season of the pandemic, I was partnering and supporting a lot of fellow wedding pros and businesses in my area who were also kind of shut down and had the time and space to really look at their brand and website. And after working with them on those things, I really saw the evolution of an impact that it had on them. So, I felt like I have been a talented designer, but I was saying yes to so much and I was undercharging, under delivering. And I hear this all the time with a lot of clients. And so it may, sound familiar to you. But over time and, through different seasons, I realized that what clients were really, really actually hiring me for wasn't just design, it was strategy and clarity. They wanted that strategic direction. They wanted, to work with someone who could see the big picture, pull in together those pieces and build the puzzle with them. They wanted someone who could actually connect the dots between their brand, their website, visibility, and long-term growth and see the bigger picture of other than just, creating a one-off logo. And that whole realization changed everything for me. Today, I actually see myself as less of a designer and more of a creative director and strategic partner. So through, Monarch Design Co., we help established service-based, primarily business owners, build a polished brand and website that actually work as a true sales infrastructure. So we help you to build that solid foundation and move the needle forward in impactful ways through marketing, through your website, through SEO, AI visibility, and those ongoing marketing strategies. So in other words, we're helping them build a brand presence, yes, but it's more than just creating something beautiful. It's actually about creating something that will drive the results and be in alignment to where they want to go. And so alongside this evolution, I recently did what I do for my clients all the time. I recently launched a completely refreshed Monarch Design Co. website and brand. And, this new version, it just feels more aligned than ever before. I feel like it really truly reflects the caliber of work that we're doing for our clients and who we serve and the level of support we actually provide. And I do feel like I was maybe stuck in that, sad beige mom era. I was in postpartum fogland. I am kind of coming out of it on the other side. And I wanted this new brand to reflect that. I wanted it to be more confident, more focused, more willing to own my own expertise instead of shying away from it and hiding. So that's just something I hope that this, podcast also helps you do too. Because whether you're a designer, photographer, wedding pro, maybe you're a service provider or, building your business or figuring out starting your business, your business should grow with you. And I was just literally talking about this on another episode with someone else. Like if you just build something and, you do your logo, you do your website and you put it out there and like it's the same and you haven't touched it for 5 years, it's going to start feeling stale and stagnant and it's not going to support your growth. So at its core, the Monarch Design Co. really helps you to evolve into that next level of who you're becoming. And so my hopes for this podcast is, it's more about building a business and life that feel aligned. So not just like the business side, but your day-to-day life too. So we're going to be talking about branding and positioning, websites that convert. We're going to talk about the nitty-gritty of SEO and AI visibility because I know that is like a very much of an emerging topic as things are evolving so quickly with AI. We're going to talk about systems, delegation, pricing, profitability. And then we're also going to touch on motherhood and entrepreneurship, how to balance and manage both. and just the real life seasons and lessons that come with it all. So this, is not going to be a highlight reel. I'm going to share the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, we do it all the time with every single episode that we with our guest episodes, we always do a boss or bust moment. I was actually just on a guest podcast and my bust was awful. But, I want to share the ins and outs of things, right? It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up consistently and authentically. So this will just be an honest conversation about, what that actually looks like to grow a business in a season where maybe your priorities have shifted or, your identity is evolving or, your capacity is changing. So if I had to summarize what this season has taught me, it would be this. Your business should support your life, not consume it. So systems create freedom, boundaries protect your energy, visibility matters, and you don't need to do everything yourself. And one of my favorite reminders and something I need to constantly, tell myself is you don't owe your past self loyalty if it costs you your future one. So yes, it's okay to outgrow and evolve, but you don't have to be loyal to your past self. You're okay to shift and grow and evolve past that. So that line has really stayed with me. And, it's really because growth often means letting go of what was and what once worked so that you can make room for what works now. And I like to use the caterpillar analogy, right? Like, once a caterpillar evolves into a butterfly, it doesn't apologize for, not being a caterpillar anymore. It just owns the butterfly. So I'm in the season of owning the butterfly, and my hopes and dreams is that you do that too and evolve into that next chapter. So in the coming weeks, I'll be sharing episodes on why your website isn't converting, SEO and what that looks like in 2026, and how to actually get found on AI tools like ChatGPT. My favorite AI tools that I'm using for business right now, the realities of running a business with two little ones. I'll be sharing more about systems that have saved me hours. And I'll also touch on planning maternity leave as an entrepreneur. I'll also be bringing on incredible guests to talk about money, marketing, wellness, organizing, mindset, AI, and so much more. So as you listen to this episode and the next episodes, I really just want you to ask yourself, what in my business no longer fits me? These are some journaling prompts that will be really helpful as you evolve with us through this next season. What am I ready to release? So maybe, thinking about something that you've been holding on for too long that is no longer serving you. And what would my business look like if it truly supported the life that I want to live? So feel free to pause and go back and write these down because I do feel like, thinking through these processes and is really going to help you to evolve into that next level. And, if this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur friend who might need these as reminders. And if you're ready for a branded website that reflects the quality of your work, head on over to themonarchdesign.co and to learn more about how we can work together. Also, just a shameless plug, my website is brand new and I am just loving sending people there. So if you're nosy, definitely go check it out. Check out the case studies on the work page. Those are like my all-time favorite projects, but also just like, I am just so proud and happy of like the true transformation that work has led those projects into. So go check it out. Let me know which ones are your favorite. And you can also follow along on Instagram. That's probably where I'm most active, and that is at Monarch Design Co. So thanks so much for being here. I'm incredibly grateful to have you along for this next chapter. And until next time, keep building your self-made life. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on the Self-Made Life podcast. If you loved this episode, share it with a friend, leave a review, or hit follow so that you never miss an episode. Want to work together or grab some free resources? You can always find me over at www.themonarchdesign.co/podcast. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep building, and go create your self-made life.
This podcast is produced, mixed, and edited by Cardinal Studio. For more information about how to start your own